Well, welcome back to the Red Carpet Roundtable podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
You're very welcome, and I'm so happy to have you back. Let's go back a little bit, tell a little bit what got you into the entertainment industry, and we'll go from there. If anybody has not seen your last interview and who may not know you.
Absolutely. I was bouncing at a nightclub. Everything I did was kind of rough and tough up until that point. I was in my 20s. I had bounced at that club. I made a lot of money. It was a lot of partying and good times. But, 2006, they closed the club, and that was the same year that I instantly had a family to provide for. And since I didn't have a degree or any other real degrees in a skill, you could say, I decided to go back to high school, or not high school, to go back to a community college. And while I was there, I said, I'm going to pick something for me. I've always been a creative, but if I'm going to go back and pick something like a business degree, then I'm going to have this for me and I'm going to feed my soul. So I took a class for acting. It was great because it gave me the access to emotions I didn't have before. And it was just great to help put me back together, give me the confidence, and I started taking it seriously. And by the end, I think I studied 3 or 4 years prior to deciding to go out. And I said, you know what? I know I was going for a degree, but I think I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to go for this. Hollywood's right there. And so I made the decision, I think 2009. I started going out. I went to Bobby Chance's, from the classes I had studied everything, Meisner, Adler comes up, Eric Morris, even. So I had put in the work and I was really ready, but I was figuring, how do I do this while I go out to Bobby Chance's, start doing the Thursday showcases, the Saturday emotionals, work on the Monday scene studies, and I made every length of the trip back and forth. I also joined Central Casting, which I highly recommend to people that don't really know where to start, especially if you are here, you have access to Central Casting in New York or the big places. They put you right on set, right? So I was immediately thrown in, and I started setting smaller goals. I want to earn my SAG. So that was my whole thing, is getting the Taft-Hartleys. If those that don't know, you need four, I believe, for background, or three for background, and then you need one principal if you have speaking role. So I was in pursuit of that. It really wasn't about the money. I juggled and made it work. Family supported me, and I had some help along the way. Doors opened, and I worked this job, Headshots, and it's on YouTube, I believe, still. And I went and did the job. It was a trap house guy named Hector, and after I worked on it, they were like, "Hey, I don't know if we told you, but we can Taft-Hartley you for this." So that was like the biggest celebration at that time. I believe it was around 2011 when I got my SAG. I was able to audition. I was still working background. I got to work background on some amazing things too. The pay rate went up. And so, I just really had, I was blessed with doors open. Once I was able to pay bills with doing the background, there was no problem. I was building the career. I had things to market. And then I started getting auditions, and it was amazing. I think my first major one that I had booked was for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was a perp walk. I loved it. They dubbed my voice. I was crushed, but you keep going. Roughly after that, I was working things like gang related on Fox, and that paid a lot of the bills because my presence was there to the point where they used me in from the opening scene to keep calling me back to even earning an audition, which I didn't get. So, for the people that don't know that want to be actors, you can be on background and they literally can pull you
Hmm.
out of nowhere and say, you're going to get a line, you're going to get an audition. But the first major break was I think it came out 2015, 2014. We filmed it, but it was the wedding ringer with Kevin Hart, Josh Gad, an amazing scene with them. Ignacio was amazing too. So it was the four of us, and I was immediately thrown into comedy. And
It's
for those that
amazing.
don't know, like I said, tough guy, like bald head. I grew out the hair. I was like,
And not to cut you off, but
no, no,
no,
absolutely.
you're okay. I want to talk about those famous names you just mentioned.
Yes,
By the way, I love Kevin Hart. You're amazing, and so on.
amazing,
But
amazing.
um, gotta ask because maybe a lot of people may be wondering as well. How was it working with those people? Kevin Hart and all the names that you mentioned.
Every part of my career has been diving in. You get the sweat, the pulse rate, it just races. And to know that when you finally see what you booked, they're keeping it under wraps. Getting on set was amazing because you want to be able to breathe. You want to be able to do your thing. The reason they called you in there. So there's a part of you that is like, really, I'm going to be professional about this. And there's a part of you that's like screaming like a fan. Um, but the actual work with them, it was amazing. The improv, coming up with things on the spot. It was really great to kind of play back and forth and see everyone just kind of give input and then know that you're in a safe environment. It was one of the first things that I took away was that there's not one person there from behind the camera to the people that you're in the scene with that don't want the best for you and want to succeed. They want to look good too. Everyone wants to look good,
Hmm.
but when you find that gel, it really works, and it was an amazing experience, and it broke me out of my comfort zone because I was always, more, tattooed, tough guy, and but to get that firsthand lesson really quick on the spot of like, okay, we're going to do this and it's going to be quirky. It's going to be funny. Your character is going to make fun of themselves. And I realized that that's what it's about. Under those circumstances, you perform and you have such a great backing. I mean, how could I
That's
not succeed?
absolutely amazing
Yeah.
story. And Kevin Hart's
Yeah.
funny, and the other actors that you mentioned as well. I
And
love
then
them.
after
Oh,
that, man, to be included, the whole production was amazing. Jeremy Garelick, the director, he's just funny, good heart, and even on the red carpet, they invited me to the red carpet. I
that's
did all of that,
amazing.
and I got Josh Gad like kind of grabbing my hand from behind while he's passing, like, "Hey, what you think?" And then let's talk about business. The access afterwards, the access to the people's ears that you may not have ever, and they're all in the room afterwards. And I always look at it like I've earned it. Years
Yes,
later, I
and you
heard a guy who
absolutely
came
do.
up to
You
me and
absolutely did earn it. You
yeah,
here you are, your journey, your story,
yeah,
and your story is so powerful in my opinion, and all the guests
thank
who
you.
I've interviewed as well. Because all the guests who I've talked to, and they always come back, but they always tell. I always love hearing the beginning, what got them into the entertainment industry, with or without college degree, and they just go for it. This is their passion.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what state you live in, you just go for it because you just want to keep going, keep pushing yourself. And you never know the people that you meet. For example, you just mentioned a couple of names right there, and
yeah,
that's a testimony, but also it's like friendship and communication and and staying connected, you know.
yes,
And now your face also, if you mind me, is out there on commercial during college football.
absolutely. Wow,
So
it's
a
been a
lot of
long
people,
journey, but
every time I watch college football, same thing on NFL, by the way. I can't
yes,
leave them
sir.
out. Your face comes on, your face does come on. You have
Yeah,
that you're doing your commercial, you're out there. It's still running. It is
yeah,
still running there. You wearing your hat and you're just going through, and I gotta ask because the last time we talked about that commercial, but now it's been going on for a while, the
yeah.
commercial, and
Second
it's
year.
still going, it's still
Yeah.
airing. And of course you're on ESPN. I gotta ask, did you ever right now, as of now, did you ever think that commercial would still be airing even now?
Um, that is a great question because it was so many parts of the reveal as to how big it was. It started out as just another audition. It was a playful character that I decided to lean in more to like a Sam Elliott, and have fun with the cowboy aspect and the sports, and then you realize the scope. They're talking about your passport and they're talking about your background check and they're talking about coming back in, and you go back in several times. You see great artists and friends that you're in competition with, and they're all there. And as the herd thins down, and you learn more. The reveal is more of the scope is a campaign. We're not just talking, a couple of commercials or one and done. We're talking about something that has legs and a life outside of that, and then the expectations of personal appearances, the improv of the acting to be in the moment with the fans, to represent their brand, the business side, everything, the LLCs, everything that you have to set up to do that. And then 2 years later, it's an amazing journey. And I've gotten to see so many amazing places, work with beautiful people. Everyone is on board for this one. I'm kind of resting right now as I still work, waiting for the Modelo campaign to kick back in. But yeah, the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for full-time
And there
fans.
you are wearing that shirt or
Yeah,
hoodie, I want to say.
yeah. And then, the billboards, or not the billboards, but like, the displays. There was a buddy of mine that sent me one from, there was a bar in Downey, I believe, and they had the full life-size cutout. And then the response, here's the big one for me is that to be a Chicano actor, to put on that outfit and then to touch cultures. I would go out throughout the football season and playoffs, and I would go to the biggest games, the best fans, best rivals. I've seen the biggest championships, and it's amazing because no matter what, no matter the socioeconomic level of the family or the background or the beliefs, whatever it is, when they come together and it's football, I'm just so proud that I'm able to connect with all of these people from all these backgrounds.
Hmm.
And that's a special part of me that, we are here to do business. We're out here to promote the brand. But, for me, that connection with the fans is what is the most important.
And
Absolutely.
I know you said you traveled, so I gotta
Yeah.
ask. I'm not gonna ask you what's your favorite college football team because that would
Oh,
put you on the spot. So,
yeah.
don't want to do
Well,
that.
I'll give
So,
it to you. Actually, my son played for Fresno State. So that automatically locked me into that. But as far as the teams that I've seen and traveled and watched, wow,
yeah, I knew you. I remember last time you said your son plays with Fresno State.
absolutely,
Don't want
absolutely.
it, don't want your son's team to come after you. They're
Oh
like, wait,
no,
what,
gotta
what?
gotta show the love.
Yeah, you gotta show the love, right? They'll be like,
Absolutely.
your son will be like, oh, Dad, what'd you do? What'd you
For your
do?
favorite college team, and you didn't know, huh? You didn't
Yeah.
know? Yeah, yeah.
Right. So let me ask you, real quick, because you got the travel, all the college football, the stadiums and everything. Uh,
Yes.
which, okay, this sounds horrible, and hopefully the fans don't go crazy. Which one was your best college football rival stadium that you went to and you got to experience? Which game was the best? I
You
know a
know,
lot of people would be like, "Oh, wait, we were the best one too." But I'm just curious, which one do you, in your opinion, you can name the top five or top 10 if you want to. Which one
I've
was
seen
your?
them play back and forth, and it really doesn't matter to me as far as championship game or not. But the Michigan Ohio State thing happening is crazy. I've been on both campuses, seen the stadiums, how they're set up, and in the background, there are some where you'll see all the M's covered up. I think believe I took a picture with the Buckeye, and he tried to get my Modelo, my M on my Modelo. So it's, these are generations. These are people that some of them don't have professional teams in their area. I loved seeing Indiana. The legacy is starting right now, and I always loved the Raiders growing up. But you see how everything is connected. Communities come out and watch teams that they have gone to those colleges, or they've grown up around those towns, and it's another thing. Just as I recognize my own self and my path, it's inspiration. You give
Hmm.
people
It
inspiration
brings
for
the
the
community
next.
together.
Yeah, and when you see those people from your community that reach the highest levels, it's always a great feeling. And then to look back and know that you're one of those people that are on those levels and you're
Yeah.
given that mantle. I hold it with high regard and high respect and honor. And but yeah, it's just the people, the fans, the people that have entrusted me. Constellation Brands, everyone that's worked on it, Gray, CAA, and my people too, Entertainment
Hmm.
Lab, and my agent Maureen at Osbrink, and it's just been an amazing ride. We shot the first set of commercials in Barcelona. The second set was in Mexico City, And that's a whole other layer of meeting people and the culture
Right.
and the
And you're
people you
still
work with.
in, pardon me, you're still being aired on commercial and
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah.
congratulations. Every
Thank
time
you.
I see your commercial, I'll be like, yep, I know that guy.
That's my guy. That's my
Yeah,
guy right
that's
there.
the guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so proud of you. Of course, you were on 911 Lone Star. Is that correct?
Yes, and that stretched it. That was, that was one of the more recent that I was able to do before we started the Modelo campaign. Believe it or not, I haven't fully shaved the beard in over 2 years and the travel, so it really did preoccupy a lot of my time. But 911 Lone Star pushed me because it was something that they needed for stunt work. And I love it because everything that I've been able to do, like I'm at the point right now where voiceovers, film, television, stunt work even thrown into the mix, and they blew down the door. I got to play a heavy again, which I always love. I've gotten to the point where even if it's a bad guy, it's been, on Truth Be Told, I was able on season three, I was able to play Bill Ochoa, who was a slick suit. He was a bad guy, but still, he leveled up as far as the character himself and my style and Detective Suarez on Fatal Attraction, where I got to play a more straight character. But with 911 Lone Star, I got to creep around the house and we were trying to kill this guy. And it was a beautiful thing. I was, kind of like that leader of the gang again, and it felt
I
great.
watched it.
But the stunts, man, they blew that door down on me like a couple times. And I did the work, but that's what was more important for me than anything was when I got everyone's, are you okay? Are you okay? And but if it looked beautiful and they were that worried to like, did he get from the door safely? We captured it, and I saw it too. It looked amazing. And then I got to kick down a door. Who gets to do that? It was amazing when we got to do it a few times to make sure that they got it right. But every time I felt like, well, I know I did my job. I don't know what they were adjusting in there, but it was just, to release that. It's the interaction, the physicality, the emotion, everything that you bring, and then getting to meet a great group of people along the way and put your stamp on something, be included, and get the residual too of amazing shows that still, I was laughing. I always tell the story about Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I was so crushed, but then I'll open the mail still to this day and I'll get a residual and I say that eases the pain a little bit. But it was a
Absolutely.
great scene. I still look good on it. I celebrated it. So from that point to this, I could never imagine, I knew I would make it, but it's like you could take it all the way today and I could be like, you know what? I did it. So my advice in that area is just, as working artists, actors that are struggling or wanting to make the step or make it is just like do it because it's cliche, but the regret or looking back on the what ifs will eat away at you way more than saying I tried and I failed. I can always pick myself up, keep going, and some people have great long careers, others leave a mark for a moment, and I have respect for that because there are movies where it's like, oh yeah, where'd they go? They were in everything, and so just to have my own lane, my own catalog, I was kind of researching even some of the work that I've done, and it's like it's no disrespect to some of the stuff I forget sometimes, but like wow, I really am blessed
Right,
and feel
because
honored.
I looked at your IMDb
Yeah,
and the stuff that you've done. The list goes on and on and on. And
yeah,
it's just I've seen, to be honest, I've seen most of the stuff that you were in. 9/11 Lone
great,
Star
yeah,
and the list goes on. I know there's
yeah,
more to that, but
oh yeah,
it's a testimony of your story and your journey, in my opinion. It's and every actor and actresses who have their IMDb's, their testimony and story of not giving
yes,
up, keep going because, a lot of young actors who are, teenagers and kids who go to audition and they get a lot of no's before they get the yes. But you and all the other guests who I've interviewed and everybody else who's out there have the same testimony about
yes. There,
you have that struggle, but you will get that yes, and then it
yeah,
keeps going and keep going and keep going. But
that's it.
it all comes back to it's like not giving up,
Yeah,
not giving up.
absolutely.
If
I
you love what
always
you're
tell
doing, you
people
go
that
for it.
most of the great things that have happened, I felt right before that happened that I was hanging on a cliff, off of a cliff, like by a pinky.
Woo!
Um, and it really does say, but at no point really in my heart was I ever going to give up, because every time that something happened, and it wasn't just a project, because out of the thousands of indie to studio projects that go on and people book. Every time I got it, I got something bigger, better. I got a home team, the Happy Madison. Got to work with Kevin James, Taylor Lautner, Rob Schneider, Jackie Sandler. We were there for like 3 months in New Orleans. The places I've gotten to see. NCIS, that was amazing because I got to work with Mark Harmon, legendary, and we did this amazing interrogation scene. And he kind of looked at me in between. He was like, "You've been working on that one," and I
I
was
was
like,
gonna
"Yeah,
mention that. I was gonna
oh,
actually mention that next, the NCIS, but you
yes,
beat me,
yes,
and
oh, hey, it's
you
exciting."
you were great
Thank you,
interrogating. You know, it was intense
thank you.
interrogation scene. I mean, your face was like firm. You were like serious, serious face, and I was like,
Yes,
that's a serious face. You know,
yeah.
and so, and it's
And
kind of
buddy
interesting.
with Wilmer Valderrama. I mean, I was the first one that got to see his apartment. I believe they made that apartment just for us. And finally, they
Wow.
got to break through and see more of him. And he was amazing. Everyone was. It was just, and the other thing is, um, in that hanging on thing, you got to realize we were just back from COVID. So from 2020, I was just finishing on Coyote in TJ, and
Hmm.
I was coming back up right before everything shut down, and then we get right back into it. We're in a groove, and then we're talking about the strikes, and so making it through everything, but through the next step was like, how are we going to do, what's going to happen, and everything. I was just kind of like, I'm waiting to see the next thing. And I've had, you know, the no thing. You almost get to the point where it's like, yeah, yeah, okay, give me the nose so I can get rid of them, you sift through. And I don't feel sorry, not within an arrogant way, because I believe everyone earns and has, if you work hard, you deserve it. But for me, knowing what you will give to a production now, I say I feel sorry for them. Maybe it just wasn't my day. They didn't see what I did, but given that opportunity, what I always bring is that. And so the same with NCIS. I was glad they let me do more of my character acting too. I don't just want to stereotype Latino, Chicano culture and the people, and we have all sorts of different characters and deliveries to give. And so yeah, 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 NCIS was another amazing landmark, the top of show guest star, and it just kept getting better and better from there, man.
That's amazing. It's so interesting, and all the roles you played and all the intense scenes you've done, like knocking that down the door and getting all the
Yeah,
stuff you've done,
yes.
and and I'm gonna ask, is there any particular scene that changed you, or what do you say, like, maybe made you more as an adult?
I will definitely say it's Bruno, and
Okay.
I have to tell everyone, little Bruno passed away recently, I believe this week. If you don't know what it is, you can go to Netflix, look up It's Bruno. It's an amazing Academy Award nominated show the year it came out. And that was one of those points where I got the audition. There was someone I knew, a friend knew someone and got me an audition. And it would film in New York, and I had to work as a local. And so I'm kind of, you're a struggling actor. I had shows on, I had things, but it's always like up and down and finances and juggling and making it happen. And but I was like, can we do this? Like with my family, can I do this? Can I pull this off? And so sure enough, we figured like, yeah, let's go for it. So I went to New York. I kind of lived there on my own for a month and a half. I would show up to set, but they would be a beautiful set. They took care of me. Slick Naeem, man, it was an amazing, amazing. He's done amazing work too. He actually just directed, I believe, episodes 4 and 5, the acclaimed Daredevil episodes now. He's also worked on Power, but this was his one of his things. Rob Morgan was on it, Donnell Rawlings, and it was an amazing time. And so, but in between that, you're away from family. It's night and day out there. I go to talk to my kids, and blessed to have video chat and be able to see them. But it was a test of me. Kind of, I always equated to walking in the desert with the spear sort of thing, the warrior. And I ate, slept, and breathed Brooklyn and Queens, and I stomped through the projects. And no disrespect, I would never be like, yeah, it was mine, but I held my head high. I went where I needed to. I was on the subways at all hours, going to where I stayed. I moved around. I made friends with the property manager with the Airbnb, so I stayed in Kensington. I had my first acting instructor, coach, friend, Mark Majarian. He said you have to know uh, what's what. If you're talking about New York, I think we were doing Stanley or Stephen at Gurgis. uh, so um, he was like, you just have to know like what these things are, where they're at, and they like kind of popped into my head when I would see where things are and kind of get the lay of the land and mapped it out and actually knew that I was, I was surviving. So really was. It stretched me emotionally, and we were doing comedy, so it was fun. But like in your moments, you're not always there with everyone from production. I had some great moments though, where it's complete strangers in the Airbnb, and we would go out, and it was around the time that the Hate You Give came out, and we went and watched that, and it was beautiful, just bonding with people, and they all have their own story. And for an artist to soak these places up and go explore, and you see like the CBGB and know where the legendary amazing musicians were at. And so it's just this overall feeling of an artist, and it stretched me a lot. Home team did too. That was New Orleans, and I was away, and but it was we were so busy, and there was such a great feel and pace on there, and so many things to do that aside from some downtime, it was just fun to film. So, but yeah, definitely it's Bruno. If you haven't seen it, check out It's Bruno. I said he just passed. Show some love, and it's their 20-minute episodes. I got to play dog thief, a Dominican dog thief named Barry Bailando. And that was another one. I didn't want to do too much. So this is my Brooklyn accent, Barry Bailando, dog thief. My son dances salsa, and so they're all parts of characters that I love. That these other, the people, the directors, the ones that help keep the actors in line and focused and in what we're supposed to be doing when we stray. He was always generous with his time, with his ear, and it was just an amazing experience. Yeah,
That's amazing. That's a wonderful experience to
yeah,
hear. That's wonderful. New York's amazing. It's cold in
yeah.
the winter. I
Isn't
will
it?
not go there in the winter.
Oh
But
yeah. Oof. It's one of those ones where you're like, yeah, I could live here, and then you're like, but no, I couldn't live here. I can dual coast. I can come out when it's really nice, and but respect to New York, because I'm one of those type of people that has always been fascinated with history and people, places, things. And from seeing Gangs of New York, or you learn something about the old world or the old country, and that builds upon itself in the generations and the stories that we tell. And some of us don't have those backgrounds in those cultures. There are other people, from the Italian experience, or from the African experience, or European. There's just so many different backgrounds and things. So it's like, for us to be able to contribute and share, I know there's still a lot we could be doing in Hollywood. And I know we talk about representation, but I see some of those. I give respect to the older people, the Ricardo Montalbans, the Emilio Riveras, the guys that kick down doors for guys like me before. We got a lot more to kick down, but I see it giving, and we have recognition, and we're working on beautiful projects, and pulled together. I was just recently, this weekend was the Mexican American Film and Television Festival and Awards, illustrious awards. And I didn't have a film in it this year, but I always go to see my friends who are colleagues, new filmmakers, support the industry. I support in, indie as well as studio. And I know that there's a lot of politics involved, but at the end of the day, for me, it's just about creative minds. And, I know that we have a lot to talk about with more of the contract talks and the AI. But for me, it's like, there's no question. It can do some beautiful things. It can make movies. It can be like, oh, that's great. You didn't have to spend money. It's a great cast, but they're not going to have me in it. They're not going to have people that we grew up, and the stories, we can refine them, we can throw them through, but there is something to be said about scratchy
Hmm.
thoughts and emotions down on paper. Sometimes we do have to sit and we have to part of that process is to not be good and to kind of work through bad ideas and have people bounce things off of you. And sometimes with the quick processing, I'm saying that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, you could do it that way. Yeah, yeah, you could do it as quicker, but no, no, sometimes it was like, Mr. Miyagi's teaching him for a reason by hand. You can go and you can go get a spray gun but there
Mr.
are things that
Miyagi,
were,
up and
yeah,
down, side to
up and
side.
down, side to side. And that's kind of what we got to remind ourselves as well as the younger generation. So when I go to award shows like that and I see people and I represent, it really connects the woven fabric that we are part of this beautiful tapestry. Andy Garcia was nominated or not nominated, but received an award. And you realize these like he's there with Pacino, bro, and representing. Come on, and to share space with people like that, and to actually know that you're recognized for your work too. My biggest thing is always saying that people open doors, they get excited, they love seeing your work, so they treat you a certain way. And it's important for me, it always has been, not to let your head get so inflated and ego driven that you don't appreciate that. So it's just as much for me to do that and share that back. And so when people recognize me, it just makes me feel good knowing that that's because the work that you put in, the care
Hmm.
that you handle, and the connection and creation, and the millions of dollars. I always say, so yes, we're these creative people, and it's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, this is a business, and people fly you places. If you're blessed enough, and you get these major roles, and you get to work with these major actors, and you get to take on these major campaign brands and ads that people really, you got to stand and deliver. And so it's been, I'm just so proud that I've been able to take that lane, have my own space. I don't need to be, I look up to so many actors, from Tom Hardy to Anthony Hopkins to, uh, you know, uh, uh, Daniel Day-Lewis's, these character actors, the Johnny Depp's. And then the John Leguizamo's, bro, come on. And look, like he was one of the guys that I looked up to because he broke that. Because there was a little bit, even when you want to keep something grounded in a character, there would be a little bit something that did give it a different character and a look in this, and that's okay. And quite frankly, now I came from a time where I was the last on the Thomas guy, the having to go to the auditions in person to really grind and go through the process. And I was happy that I made it through like that, because now it did give me a little bit different of a base, and I knew who I was, what I wanted to do, cover up the tattoos, play these different characters, different backgrounds, different regional, be able to pull these voices. I want to do voices that they'll never let me play, and still prove that. And so, like diving into voiceover work now, there's a couple times where like, I'm gonna just give it to him. I'm just gonna, no, no, I don't care what you. All I care about is whether you can do a pull up. And I say, I just like these things that we do and play with. You shouldn't have to feel like there isn't space for you, and people that can do it better than me will in the future. And I'll look back on the doors I got to kick down, and just shared weight, blessed, and I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for my family, friends, and fans. For real,
That's that's amazing story
more
and
to come.
testimony.
Thank you,
And it means a lot for you to share it with me and all the audience out there. And it is so true. The testimony, the hard work shows up, not
thank
giving
you.
up and auditions and just, you know, you
And
want to
it's and
keep it.
it's not always easy too. I always say, I never want to get caught up so much in the fact where I tell people that these great things do happen, but in between, it's a lot of hanging on. It's a lot of figuring out how you make the juggle, what
And
jobs you
also
get.
it shows ooh, brain freeze, sorry. It
Oh, don't worry.
shows about hard work shows up.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, hard work does show. And
Showing up and effort makes a difference,
yes,
especially in
effort
in
and
Hollywood.
showing up and not giving up is
Yeah,
it is the key.
yeah.
It's
Because somebody will open that door if you can figure out a way to hang on. And I mean, that's basically what we do in life, anyways. That like people will have a plan, their 10 year, their 5 year, and I just have never been one of those ones to play life safe within just within the guidelines of what we think is making money, putting it away, having vacations. I look at some of the homeboys and they have their 9 to 5, they get their barbecue, they come and watch the full-time fans campaign ads with the Modelo Recruiter on them, and they'll take their vacations. But I always just knew that I wanted something, and I grew up a little bit more impoverished growing up, so it
hmm
was always kind of like this thing where we're like, no, I'm in Beverly Hills, baby, like we're getting there. I'm doing this. But then at the same time, it becomes more about what you leave behind, your legacy, the craft that you do. You want to do better work, and you realize the weight of it's not just on you, it's on everyone who believes in you. It's for you to make it. And so yeah, I just feel
it's
really
about leaving
blessed.
behind the past,
Yeah, yeah. And then
improving.
using all these things to be able to express these different characters
Yeah,
is
it's
amazing.
about
And even
improving your life, but also showing somebody out there that they can improve their life
yeah.
if they
And
want to.
it's our we're human beings, and I love it because acting has given me that more than anything. And then the spirituality of who we are, and the understanding of we are imperfect, and it's going to be a long, hard road. You fight with yourself sometimes. It's not necessarily me and the negative stuff, but sometimes it's just me and the knucklehead decisions, being a little bit more wild than I should have. The Hollywood thing that goes along is like, let me grab the reins, let me pull myself in. There's a lot of people that are actors, but a lot of them, they do more acting at the club from 2 to 6 in the morning than they do, you know, on set. And I never wanted that. So but it doesn't mean I'm perfect. So it's like, grace. We give each other grace and love, and we
Hmm
support everything that we do. And that enables me to, even if it's not my lifestyle, still play characters that represent other people's lifestyles. Give respect to it. We are like the human condition is an amazing thing. And the laughter that we get, the crying, those special moments. I still have some movies where I was watching this weekend, and I would literally be like, the access to emotions is cathartic, and the release. And if we can touch people, we can change minds by something where as subtle as the delivery and the package which a production is wrapped in, to somebody who may be totally against understanding that point of view, but wrapped in the safety of being able to watch it in the theater or at their home. It can change people's outlooks, and heal people's childhood traumas. They heal their relationship traumas, like all of these things, because we choose to break ourselves on the rock because we are strong enough to do that. And within our own lives, you have to be strong enough. So if you say, I'm strong enough to play someone that breaks themselves on the rock for people and for this voice and this point of view, then my own self has to be broken on the rock and still get up and type A. So it's a very, very beautiful thing. But it can, for the people that want to do it, it can be ugly, but that's the beauty once again. And it cycles, because that's the beauty of what we do.
That's absolutely amazing story, and it's the truth. It's about um, changing people and hope for the best for the people, but also um, you want to share their story when we're
Yeah.
actors. You
Yes.
want to hope to change people's minds. That's what I was trying to
Yes.
get to. Change people's minds and perspective on life because everybody's going through something different in their life. And
Yeah.
that is so true. You know, don't life is a rock, like you
Yeah.
said. You
Yeah.
don't
And
know
life
what
is far more, especially now with social media and everything, life is far more uh
different.
yeah, people are comparing themselves, they're feeling inadequate. It's like, but the most beautiful thing is the imperfection to
Hmm.
be made, and I believe, I mean, I look around and I see everything and how everything works, and I'm like there is a purpose for it. This is not just some scientific experiment, an accident or something. Like literally, we are superheroes. You could get a slice from a knife today, and in a couple of days you could be healed up if if you're healthy, and like everything's functioning like it should. And then we're always going to have the exploration. It doesn't matter whether it was cavemen or it's modern times, of emotion and communication and talking to someone, and these conflicts. I remember just recently watching Giants with Dean. Come on, what's his name? He passed away. The famous actor. Uh, James Dean. James
James
Dean.
Dean. Okay.
And but I'm loving it because the two parents are sitting in there and they're realizing that they're getting older, and they're talking about the daughter. It's funny because the dad is defending the daughter, and she doesn't want to go to the all girls school. She wants to go to university, and he's made his bones in oil, so he's a tough man. He's from the ground up, bootstraps, and the wife is upset because that's not what young ladies do at this time. And young ladies were finally going off to college and having other choices, and then he's like kind of in his feelings when she tells him, well, your son who you want to follow in your footsteps and take over the business, well, he wants to go to college too. He wants to move from here, and he has his what I think another one of the daughters was getting married, and they're looking at each other, realizing like we're getting old. What's happening? We're losing our kids, and one doesn't like the dad doesn't like the fact that the daughter, and or that the son doesn't want him. And it's so amazing because all these years later, and we're still going through that.
Yeah.
We're having conversations like that in under our own roofs, and then we have a whole lot more bigger things going out in the streets and
Hmm.
with people and communities. And but I always look at it like this, I don't have answers for everything, but we comment and commentary and commentate on things because we give people with a voice. But the one good thing we have at is when things are broken or we think that they're at their worst, is that's the ability to reset in a better way, in a bigger way. And I'm all for that, and I'm all for looking forward to continuing to contribute to the comedy, the drama of society. And even with gentrification and gente, and check out Horchata with Oat Milk. It's a comedy that we did. I believe it was a few years ago, but it just came out roughly last year. And but that has an amazing cast of people who are just coming up. If you've seen the movie Clica, it ranked, I think, number 6 on the movie list that had Avatar on it. And I'm proud because Concrete, my buddy, who's also in Horchata with Oat Milk, he did an amazing job with the dramatic performance. Sony backed it. Jerry Humilde was the man behind the scenes who made it all happen. And my buddy Duno, um, Jay Valentino, they were all in Horchata with Oat Milk with me, and they're all amazing. They have fans. They're doing stand up in addition to uh, starring in these films. And so for me, we're losing people all the time. I just laid one of my actor friends, Mike Flores, to rest. Uh, and I realize even in my personal life, since I was younger, people pass every single year. People are gone, and they don't have the opportunity. So when brothers like us get together, when we all have kind of those stories, and then we have the voice of America, if not the
Hmm.
nation,
It's the
or
story of
internationally, yeah, then
success.
I look forward to telling people like check them out, check Lika out. That's more to come because we are all people who talk, we support each other,
And
and
that's
we
why
are on that.
I support you.
Thank you, brother. Thank
No,
you. Bless
no,
you.
no.
Yeah,
It
bless
means
you.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, not at all. You're
you're
good.
absolutely right. We have to support each other. And I saw
Yes.
I by the way, I saw your buddies, and they did absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it. I love watching movies in the movie theater. I've seen so many, and it's just I again, not to put myself to shame. I've probably seen so many movies that you mentioned that your friends are in
Oh man,
that I probably, the list goes on, but I'm
it's
a
an
big
amazing
movie
journey.
fanatic. I love, I support all the actors are on set and on TV
Yes.
show because independent or, not independent, A-list, B-list, so on. But we're a family in the entertainment industry. We
Yes.
support each other. We
Smaller
do.
than people think.
It's what we think, and it's crazy
Yeah.
that the love and the support we do because we're a community and we're a family, and that's
Yes.
absolutely right. Um, I gotta ask, any upcoming projects that you're gonna be in?
So it's always beautiful to spread out what you do, have things up and coming. And this one, this time on with you is no different. It's Splash City. The entrepreneur, the owner, he's even reached the bestseller list for his book, Berner, the owner of cookies. I had the pleasure of being able to play Detective Munoz in his up and coming film, which features his city, part of their story, San Francisco, the Bay Area. It's called Splash City, and where Splash City means is splashing and bipping. It means breaking the wind. Bipping is like when they and it is so terrible up there. Break the window, smash and grabs. That's what they call bipping. So it has a story. There are characters. There's community. There are people in it that are amazing actors. We were in San Francisco for, I believe, about a month, a little over a month filming, and I'm just happy. Lionsgate is backing us, and I just can't wait. I believe it's coming out the end of June or July. Keep your eyes posted. I'll be posting more about it as it unfolds. But it was just an amazing
When it comes
opportunity.
out, I definitely
Oh
want to
yeah,
have you back on.
oh yeah, yeah. I'd love to. It's a
So
great story.
when is
Um,
it coming out?
I believe June, July, end of June or July. So we'll keep our eyes open for it. I don't want to, I believe that's what it was, but not an official release date just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, some amazing actors in that one. And I just don't want to say too much, but yeah.
I totally
Uh,
understand you can't say
oof.
much. Don't worry, I'm
I
not gonna.
will say this.
Okay.
I finally got to work. I've known him for years and we didn't really get to work. It would be like he would help me with auditions, we would talk, we would be at events and we just didn't get to work. But Steve Villegas, he came up on my block and he had an amazing buddy on SWAT uh with Luca. And so Steve Villegas, he's another amazing actor. He got to play my Detective Suarez, so it's Suarez and Munoz, and we're out to bust those bippers. And in the middle of it, there's murder, there's betrayal. So just really juicy. And then for me, that's another one where you just like you feel like you're at one of those you're at one of those points in time where you really have lived a historic time and you've been part of historic things. And it was bringing together the North and South California. It was bringing together as far as the streets go. It was bringing together the North Bay and Shore and the blue and the red, and it was brown and black. It was, I grew up I didn't grow up in a traditional Mexicano household, and a big part of my influence growing up were my friends, and it was part of the black community, and in the Bay Area, it really is. That's like with more meshed, and it's not as separated as Southern California. So we had actors and homies from the streets that were coming down from Southern California going up there to work, and we were getting to work with a lot of the legendary people that we've known from the Bay Area, and then their community, and meet people that they put on there. And collectively, we just put it all together. And I just think it's a great representation of what we can achieve in the entertainment industry when we're backed by the right people, and when we have the great brain trust and collectives that are bringing stories that represent their community. Because I remember it's easy access now. I remember you had to literally see or hear about something, a certain movie, if it was a regional thing, or you couldn't get a hold of it, or you had to wait for it. Even music, the influences of places, and it was like you would wait to see it. I remember it was something at the very beginning. If you could get the "I'm 'Bout It" Master P video, he did his first indie full length feature, and at the time I was like, yeah, that gangster attitude was right up my alley. And so you see stuff like that, but it was a narrative on his life, not only how he grew up going from, where he did, but, just how he came up and where things were. And so you got insight, and you start learning about other places, because the same thing is happening. These are the same characters with the same human beings, wraps in a different package. It could be biblical times, or it could be, Jetsons. And it doesn't matter. We're always going to break things. We're always going to get in trouble. We're always going to loosey it up. We're always going to get in these Three's Company situations, and have these stories, and tell these tales of great men and great women, and wars and battles fought, not only on battlefields, but battlefields of classrooms and class status
Hmm.
and race, and this is all a collective of storytelling, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it, and share with you.
Well, I'm so happy that you share all this testimony with me.
Oh,
I'm
my
learning
pleasure.
so much, and it's it's amazing, and the journeys you've been through and the people you get to meet and the
Yeah,
connection you get to meet is a testimony of how we come together and support each other in the entertainment industry.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
means a lot. This is your second time coming on. I'm really enjoyed speaking with you. It means a lot. We're supporting each other, and
Yes,
that is what the community does, the connection in the film industry. So,
yeah.
um, again, thank you for wanting to come on. It really
No,
means a lot.
no, thank you for having me. Sometimes when we have success, it becomes about these shows. This has, with me, that's the whole purpose of what has gotten me where I'm at, is to communicate, connect with people. And I don't care what the audience size, one person, a network full of millions of viewers, people in the theaters, people at home watching me do my thing on Shameless, or, whatever the next one's going to be. But no, it's a beautiful thing.
That means a lot because, it doesn't matter how many followers each person has. It's the
And we help each
support.
other.
It's the support helping each other in the community
Absolutely.
and
And you
get
know what? I don't see anyone as being genuine in heart and spirit if you say that you want to partake in whatever your part of the entertainment industry is, and don't get excited and don't want to hear stories of other people. I still to this day love hearing stories of how, like, oh man, he was here and he had, like, oh, Brad Pitt with 250 blew into town, or whatever it was, the homie that's on the insurance commercial, where it was like, oh yeah, he was on this, but then this, and then wasn't booking, and then they need to hear this because right now there's somebody that hasn't booked in maybe a year or two, or maybe they lost an agent, but it's like this, still that doesn't define you, the circumstances, but whatever you choose to do will define you, and then that career. And nobody will tell you anything that you don't already know about yourself. It's like what you do, so do it well. And I just love it. We should be enthused. We should want to talk about it. We should want to drop advice. We should want to influence people and be influenced, and come up with more stories. And it's always about, the most interesting thing to me about what we do as far as the productions is like a Quentin Tarantino, like Pulp Fiction changed my life, or Reservoir Dogs, is hearing the dialogue. They may have these great circumstances that they're under, and these intense surrounding scenes, but what really it is a coffee shop scene where they're talking about like, you know, what like a virgin means, or about how dangerous it is to rob a liquor store as opposed to a diner. So but these little conversations they got in about nothing, almost like the Seinfelds, the real
Hmm.
life. That's what we know it is, because you could be, it doesn't matter what your background is or what your circumstance is, it's all relatable. And to hear those relatable conversations amongst those circumstances, to me, I think what defines a great screenplay, great writing, great acting, great production. Can we, and we do it together, and guess what, none of that happens if people don't want to talk about it, promote it, do podcasts. So love and respect, brother. Thank you so much.
It means a lot. Thank you. You know, this is what I love what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for, to have all the actors, it doesn't matter how many followers, all welcome on my show. Actors, models, singers, directors, producers, authors, etc. I love hearing their story and their testimony and their journey about being in the film industry, and it really means an honor that you came on here again, and you're always welcome to come back on. I can't wait to
I always
um,
will.
I
They can't pull
possibly.
me away, brother.
No, I'm not gonna get you away, you know.
Oh,
And
no, no, no.
and if you know, I would love to have your friends on. If
Sure.
you please send them my way, I would love to get connected with them, talk about their film. Um,
Absolutely.
Please do.
Absolutely.
I would love to have them on. And also,
I've gotten able to, like, the people that you see from the Paul Rodriguez's to, from almost the entire cast of Blood In, Blood Out, these cinematic masterpieces that represent
mhm.
for, my culture. And to see that and know you have their ear, that legacy, brother. Yeah, you're way all the way.
Yeah, please send them my way, and I would love to have them on. And also, hopefully this year in June or July, I would love to have you on and talk about your film.
Sure. Sure. And you know what? We may be, it just all depends, because we may be doing it from a hotel room this next time. I see the sun messing with us right now, but it was like I had to be outside in its beauty.
No, no,
But
no. It
we
wasn't
may be filming the next Modelo Recruiter commercials
okay. It's
around
okay.
that time.
The sun's not bad. I love the beautiful background, by the way. So don't
Oh,
worry.
thank
And
you. Thank you.
definitely June or July. I'll have it on my calendar. I'll reach out to you so you can
I'm
have
with
you
it.
talk about your film and promote more other projects that you have coming out there. So
Line's
thank
always open. Yeah, and I'm still, I make appearances when I can. I usually try and announce those. I think I'm going to be doing a celeb boxing tournament the end of next month, and so I'll make sure to throw the flyer your way. And but that's what I love. I love all the
yes,
aspects of
please
what we do and
do.
the extras, and yeah, just more to come, more to come, more to come.
I definitely can't wait. And thank you again for coming on.
My pleasure.
And if you know any of your friends or any other actors or guests, please send them away. I would love to have
I
them on.
will. I will.
Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. All right,
All right.
bye-bye.